Hello everybody, welcome to a new video. My name is Evi and I read books. And you can see my physical to-be-read shelf is empty because I got all the books over here. I'm gonna show you guys today what all of my unread physical books are. I do have like a giant unread pile on digital books. If you want to see a video about that, leave it down in the comments below and maybe I will make that too. But I'm just gonna do my physical books because my physical books are mostly the main books that I read. I don't really have categorized them. I just literally just drag them out of the shelf onto my bed to show you guys. So not really have an order in them. I'm gonna start with this first pile that I got. This pile. Most of those books you probably have seen in my book haul I forgot to upload because most of them are recently hauled, as in from September to December. First I got Fatal Spel van Chinook Thijsse. It's a Dutch author, one of my favorite Dutch young adult authors, and by the way, I'm not gonna give a lot of synopsises because I just honestly go into books blind. I read the synopsis, I put it on my wish list, and then I buy books, and I tend not to read the synopsises, so once I have read these books, those wrap-ups are very thorough and can tell you exactly what they're about. Another of my favorite Dutch young adult authors is Evi Reads, and this is one of our books, and this is Verstrikt. Also this I bought second-handed. This one too, I started to buy Dutch books more second-handed because I realized it's way cheaper and most of them are still in a pretty good condition. So this is a young adult thriller. Okay, when it was the thriller weeks here in Belgium, we got an extra gift if you buy a thriller above 15 euros, and that was Wat jij niet ziet van MJ Arledge. The English title of this book is Love is Blind. It's a really short book and I tend to read it like quite a lot of the times. I'm gonna read that first, and then or the TBR I made doesn't really fit it in, or I just forget that it exists because it's that thin and hardly seeable in the books. So I think this is probably going to be on a TBR really soon because it's so small and I probably finish it in a day. Then another Dutch author is Maden Stoffels, and this is Room Service. I got this book I think for like a year now, and same thing, I just don't tend to get to it. I do really want to read it though. I think it's a thriller / horror type of young adult book. I have read Fright Night of her. I'm pretty sure her books are also translated in English, I think. If I'm mistaken, I will put it somewhere, but I think some of her books are also in English translated. So I'm really curious about this. Like I said, I read Fright Night. I really want to read Escape Room of her, and this is Room Service. I just haven't gotten to it. January, I don't have a TBR list, so maybe I get to it this month still, maybe not. I'm having no idea what I'm going to read next and what I'm reading this month because I did not make a TBR because I didn't want to force myself to read certain books because I got a lot of new books and everything. The next book is End of Watch by Stephen King. It's the third book in the Mr. Mercedes trilogy. I've read the first two. This is the last book of this trilogy I still have to read. I have those pocket editions, which are gigantic. I have no idea how the regular editions are, but these are pretty chunky books, but they're obviously smaller because they're pocket. My mom has already read this and she said it was a really good one. In this trilogy, I like the second one the best. The first one is actually about, the first one was good but like not the best, and the second one was the best. I've read the first one like a year ago, the second one I think this summer, so I might read this one also soon. Like, these are all books I want to read soon because they're on my TBR pile. And the next book is a Dutch book that I'm really wanting to read, and that is een dagboek van een verloskundige, which is by Marlies Kroes, and it's actually, well, literally translated, it's Diary of a Midwife. For the people who don't know, I am currently trying to get my bachelor's degree in midwifery, so I'm really curious about this. One of my friends and classmates said like, oh, this book is great, she got it for her birthday this summer, and I was like, and she said I could have borrowed it when she's finished with it, but obviously through COVID I hardly see her because she doesn't live in Belgium. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna ask it for my Christmas. I'm gonna put it on my birthday and my Christmas list, and maybe somebody gives it to me. And my mom gave it to me, and I'm really happy about it. Then the next book was also a book that I got from my Secret Santa of my book club. The first book that I got from her was My True Love Gave to Me, but I already finished that one. And this is also from a Dutch author, and it is A Boy 7 by Medium Mouse. I have no idea what this book exactly is about. She asked me if I was interested in it, and I remember having this, wanting to read this from the library for a while, but haven't gotten to it. So of course I wanted to try it out, and she gave it to me. I don't know if it's actually her copy that she was planning on selling or getting rid of, or that she just find a bargain. I have no idea. Okay, then we're gonna go to one of the classics, the only classics that I have physically, like an ebook, and I really wanted actually some physical, more thriller mystery type of classics because that's more my genre, and I bought Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. It's also a really tiny book, so I thought like the letters probably will be extremely small, but actually that's pretty okay too. And this is from the Penguin English Library edition. I found it on a Dutch store that they also sell these editions. I do really like them. I didn't know this was like a real paper feel to it though, but I don't mind that much. I think I spent like €6 on it, so it was really cheap, and I might want to have other classics in this collection. Then I have a chunky book, and also a book that I got through fall recommendations. I am happy that the writing is pretty medium and not like really tiny, because otherwise I would spend like a year, I think, reading this book. And that's The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. I almost hit myself in the head with the book right now. I do really like this book. It's such a nice cover, and like I said, it's a pretty big book. I saw a lot of fall recommendations. I'm so happy the writing is not that small. I saw this book in a lot of fall recommendations, and I really thought like that's the book I really want to read. It looks so fun, but I have never realized, if people hold it up like this, that it's this big of a book. I think it's like 500 pages, so it's gonna take a while to read. So it's in English. English is not my first language, so I'm a little bit slower when reading in English. Not like extremely slow, but Dutch always goes a little bit quicker, obviously. And the next 4 books I'm going to show you guys are first in a series, planning on trying to get caught up on series, and I ended up buying first in a series a lot of the time because also fall recommendations, BookTube did it to me. I watched a lot of fall recommendations. I love fall recommendations the most because they're mostly darker thriller mystery vibes, and that's more my genre. I do read contemporary and romance and all the other genres too. The first book I got here is The City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. It's the paperback edition, and I love Discover It more. That's why I actually bought the paperback. The writing, by the way, has a lot of spacing, so that was one of the things that I noticed when I opened the book, because I always flip through the book once I got it, that it's a lot of spacing, so maybe it reads quicker. Maybe not. It's about a hunted girl, or a girl who sees dead people, which is great. I want to read it. It was normally on my November TBR. I haven't started it because I didn't read any books since October. I started, well, the last couple of weeks I have been reading books again, so I'm really happy about that. Then 2020 had my favorite book, and that was Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. It's a dual perspective type of book, as some parts are in the 1930s. Some part of the book is actually in the present day. And I saw, for people who like Truly Devious, that A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro is also a really nice book, because it has a little bit of the same vibe, apparently. I have not read it, so I have no idea. I do know it's Charlotte Holmes, so it has a connection to Sherlock Holmes. Truly Devious also had a connection to Sherlock Holmes, or like a reference to Sherlock Holmes, because of Dottie Epstein, who was one of the girls who got missing in the 1930s, was reading a Sherlock Holmes book. I do like Sherlook Holmes, so I thought this might be a book that I really enjoyed too. Also got it from fall recommendations. This book is a book I saw on Belgian Bookstagram, BookTube, Dutch, and the English and American Bookstagram and BookTube, and a lot of fall recommendations too, and that's A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Same thing, it's a thriller. It's, I think, a young adult mystery thriller, which I like. I bought most of these books at the same time because I just really wanted them. And then the last book on my physical TBR is also a little bit more based on the past, or like linked to the past, and that is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. It's based on Jack the Ripper. I think he murdered a woman in cold blood. He terrorized an entire city. He taunted those of us who hunted him down. But despite all these horrors, in the end, I could not deny it. I was a girl who loved the Ripper. I'm really intrigued by Jack the Ripper's story and the crime around it, so this book kind of spoke to me from the beginning. So these were all the books that I have unread. Most of them I actually bought the last 6 months or got as gifts for my birthday or for my Christmas. So if you have suggestions for how I could pick my TBR, leave it down in the comments below. If you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and you want to see more of me, hit that subscribe button down below, and I will see you next week. Bye!